Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win, or find a way to lose. A lot of talk about this fight coming up with Naoya Inoue and Stephen Fulton. A lot of people talking about whether they feel Inoue can beat Stephen Fulton or not. And I'm going to tell you right now, I personally think Inoue is going to clip Stephen Fulton. And I don't think the fight's going to be hard at all for Inoue. Let's forget the fact that he's coming up 4 pounds. 4 pounds is nothing, man. I don't care who wants to argue about 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 7 pounds when the guys come from 118 to 122. Not a big deal. Although he started off at 108 pounds, it won't be a big deal for this fight. So they agreed to the terms, man. For a unified fight at 122 pounds, which is really good. Supposed to be fighting in Japan, right? Which is interesting. That means Fulton got to go over there, but they got to go where the money's at. But Inoue is in a good position. Gonna automatically go into a unified title fight for the WBC and WBO junior featherweight titles. Now, they haven't pinpointed a specific date. We just know it's going to be in May. It's supposed to be streamed on ESPN Plus. But I want to tell y'all this. I don't know why Fulton, who's unified at 122, would even entertain fighting a killer like Inoue. We understand him being undisputed at 118, dropping the belts, bubbling up, getting it, and being entitled to an automatic shot to a title. But I just don't see why Fulton would take such a risky fight. The guy's nickname is the Monster for a reason. Now, Fulton, maybe if he had a little more pop, right? The guy, man, Fulton is 21 wins, 8 of them by KO, 0 losses, right? Let me do something here. We need to understand what we're up against, right? Stephen Fulton, what's going on with this right here? He and Inoue about the damn same size. I'm trying to move something, man. Here we go. Now it's moving. Let me try to pull something out. I want to point something out here. I just don't get when people are sitting here talking like Inoue is so out of his class going up against Fulton. Fulton's standing a full 5'6". Inoue is just a little shy at about 5'5". Inoue has 24 wins, 21 by KO, 87% KO ratio. Fulton's KO ratio is 38%. When it comes to Inoue and his reach is 67.5 inches. Fulton is only 70, so he has a reach advantage, but not by much. Age-wise, they're about the same. Inoue's 29, Fulton's 28. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, there's no way in the world Fulton is going to survive to see the 12th round against Inoue. Fulton is he's a good fighter, talented fighter, right? Not just for 122 pounds. When you look at him and compare him as far as his skill set, he's in the talks with other elite fighters from other weight divisions. But I've watched Fulton fight several fights. I've watched Inoue fight several fights. Inoue's fought tall guys. He's fought short guys. He's fought boxers. He's fought guys who try to punch with him. But I'm going to tell you, there comes a time in every fight that Inoue is in, once he lands a shot, kind of like Tank Davis, the opponent changes his approach and style to fighting. Something special about the fist of Naoya Inoue. Now, for those of you who are saying, well, look, he's going up 4 pounds, man, you're downplaying Stephen Fulton. He's a great fighter. I didn't say he wasn't, but what I'm telling you is he's going to get knocked out. Fulton and Figueroa. I watched that fight. I watched it twice. I watched the highlights. And there's something I noticed about Fulton. I watched several other Fulton fights, right? Fulton likes to box. He likes to try to take a step back and then throw a straight right hand. He keeps his hands down at time. He's a great counterpuncher. He has great eyes. He has great timing. He will go on the ropes. When he gets his back on the ropes, sometimes he will slide to the left on the ropes and try to counter, then slide back to the right on the ropes and try to counter and play around. And I'm telling you right now, I see him getting in there, trying to box with a guy like Inoue and going straight back or ending up on the ropes, because Inoue is not going to just stand in the middle of the ring and try to box you. He's got that little, I lived in Japan for quite some time, 6 years actually. I've done some sparring while I was out there. And I've done some sparring in Korea. I fought in Korea for a while. I think I talked about this in other videos. Not getting off subject here, but what I will tell you is it's a different mentality those fighters have out there. I was in the gym where I come there as the American guy, the military guy, and I didn't speak Japanese. I didn't speak Korean when I was in Korea. I learned a lot of words. I learned a lot of phrases. And that's more than enough. That gets you a long way. But I remember being inside those gyms and seeing what happens to the fighters in there who aren't taking training seriously. And let me tell you, it's not a matter of them getting scolded. Hey, the coach, like in Korea, called him Kwang Jung Nim. They used to beat those boxers, man. Like, they have the mitt. They have different mitts. They have the one that kind of looks like the shape of a tennis racket. Oh, my God. Would take it and beat those boxers. Make them put their hands behind their back and bow and take it and beat them in the head and in the face. And I remember watching that. My mouth was agape in shock. And after, Kwang Jung Nim, that's what he called the coach, right? He came over to me and he called me by my first name, and he was, actually my last name. He knew me by my last name. And he said my last name. He was like, he couldn't speak much English, just like I couldn't speak no damn Korean, right? But he was just saying, different, Korea different. He like, no same. And I know what he was trying to tell me is, the culture is different. They train different. They have a different expectation for their fighters. And if you are a fighter with a lot of promise and they caught you playing around, or they didn't feel you were giving 100%, because your best is your best, but what they think your best is what they think your best is. And when I went over to Japan, was the same kind of thing. You in there sparring and just thinking you're coming in there to get a little bit of work, 100% speed, 50% power. No, that's not the case. They come in there in shape and they come in there to fight. So when I look at Inoue and I look at Fulton, and I just knowing, kind of being on that Asian circuit that I was in and seeing how the training can be and how they're fighting for the country and the culture and the pride, I just don't think Fulton, with his kind of Adrian Broner counterpunch, stick move, get on the ropes, be cute, flashy, that style's not going to work against a guy like Inoue. I just don't think so. And also, I don't think Fulton has the power. He's going to have the power to make Inoue respect him. He has the speed. He has the timing. And we could see Inoue maybe get a little bit bruised up. Could see him maybe bleed a little bit. Could see him swell up a little bit. You look at those high cheekbones and everything on Inoue. I mean, it's some good targets for a guy like Fulton. But my thing is this. What happens when Inoue catches up to him? The fight is going to change. And Fulton just isn't tall enough and just doesn't have the type of reach advantage that he's going to need to stay away from Inoue and Inoue's power. Now, that's how I see it. We can go even more in depth about what Fulton does or doesn't do, Inoue does or doesn't do. I'll let you guys look at boxing gems for that. I like to do those kind of videos, but if you want a phenomenal breakdown on boxing and upcoming fights, go check out Boxing Gems channel. But what I'm telling you, for me, just being a boxing fan like a lot of you guys, and just looking through it through my lens, it's just no way in the world I could see Stephen Fulton being perfect from the first second of round 1 to the last second of round 12. And the reason I'm saying that is because Omar Figueroa had a lot of success against Fulton. Now, we know Figueroa has a style where he's going to close the distance, come in close, make it ugly. And he was able to do that, and he had a lot of success against Fulton, fighting that way. And with Inoue, he's going to get in close. The difference is Inoue's punches are tighter, a lot more powerful, and he will go to the body. And Inoue knows where to place his power shots. He's just not there trying to break you down and punch you in the arms and be reckless. No, that man knows where to place his punches on the top of your head, where to place them there on your chin, where to place them at certain points in your body. He trains that way. That's why when you see him letting shots go, he hurts opponents and knocks them out. And people question his toughness, right? People are talking about his toughness. Look, don't sit here and tell me that Stephen Fulton, Mr. 8 KOs out of 21 fights, is going to hurt Inoue and the referee's going to jump in and stop the fight. Y'all forgetting that Inoue, when he fought Nonito Donaire in that first fight, that he had a broken nose and broken orbital? See, a lot of people don't even realize that. He's tough. He pushed through it. Okay? And then we saw what happened when he came out and they had the second fight. He damn near killed Donaire. So what I'm telling you is Inoue is different. And when you're built different, as far as your toughness, your will to find a way to win, and you're ferocious, and just have that aggression and want to hurt your opponent like Tank Davis, that's a recipe for disaster for whoever's getting in the ring with him and can't keep him off you. So I predict this fight will go first round, kind of be a feel-out round. I think by round 6, Inoue would have knocked Fulton out and become the unified champion at 122 pounds. And for anyone out there who wants to say, nah, I don't think so, well, that's cool. I just say, look at that Figueroa fight. Fulton struggled with Figueroa. What's he going to do with the monster? And I'm just telling you that. I'm a boxing fan, but Inoue is just one of those guys, something special in his hands. And we have to respect these guys who come into the ring and have these 87, 89, 90% KO ratios, 98% KO ratios, probably anything above 75%. You got to pay attention. But when you're cresting right below 90% for a KO ratio, 21 knockouts out of 24 fights, at some point, you got to stop and say, you know what? It's just a matter of time before this person lands. And that's what makes a fight between two knockout punches like, Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford interesting. Who's going to land first? Even what's coming up with Keith Thurman and Earl Spence. What's going to happen there? Ryan Garcia, Tank Davis. What's going to happen there? But when you look at this, there shouldn't be much thinking about it. You got someone who hits hard, who can fight, against someone who can box, but doesn't really have the heaviest of hands. What's going to happen when he gets touched? And we're going to find out in May. I got Inoue winning by KO, I think within the first 6 rounds. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. And if you haven't watched the Omar Figueroa Fulton fight, go watch it. A lot of people felt Figueroa did enough to win that fight. And if you watched that and you didn't if you haven't watched Inoue, watch Inoue. Just watch the highlights of Inoue. And you tell me what you think is going to happen after you watch that if Inoue gets in the ring, or when he gets in the ring with cool boy Stephen Fulton. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm in the breeze.